Did you know that the media is now manipulating you about photos to create fake scandals about President Trump? Your trusted news sources are actively gaslighting you about a simple visual aid used to explain MS-13 gang tattoos. And if you stick around, what you'll learn is how desperate they've become to discredit Trump's successful deportation policies with this ridiculous Photoshop scandal. The media wants you confused, but we're cutting through the noise and exposing the truth about the MS-13 deportation and the blatant manipulation behind the headlines. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Look, if you like our videos and haven't already, become a subscriber to the channel. Hit that notification bell and smack the like button because it helps us get our message out to more people. Also, tomorrow night, Friday night at 6 o'clock Eastern, we're doing a live stream where we're going to read some interesting news stories of the week. We're going to tweak them with a little bit of humor, a dash of sarcasm, a whole lot of conservative common sense. Join us. You'll have a good time. So, the American media establishment has reached a new low, and that's saying something because they've been scraping the bottom of the barrel for years now. They're now trying to convince you, yes, you, that your own eyes are lying to you. It's gaslighting at a level that would make George Orwell blush. What if I told you that the same people who call themselves journalists are now hysterically condemning the Trump administration for adding a simple legend to a photograph? It's mind-boggling, I know, but that's where we are right now. The truth about what they're hiding might shock you. The story starts with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a known MS-13 gang member deported under President Trump's administration. Garcia had gang symbols tattooed across his fingers, symbols that represent the letters and numbers MS-13. Now, according to Customs and Border agents and ICE, it is known that if you put MS-13 tattoos on your body and you're not a member, they will cut the tattoo out of your skin or chop off your extremity. So people don't do it. To help everyday Americans understand what those symbols meant, the Trump administration added letter labels above the tattoos, a simple visual guide, the kind you see in any classroom or educational material. But the media, they went ballistic, absolutely ballistic. They called it doctored and photoshopped and manipulated, as if the Trump administration was trying to fabricate evidence out of thin air. And if they were, they did a pretty poor job because look at this. That doesn't even begin to look authentic. I mean, the administration was not going out of its way to try to hide anything. And the media, they knew exactly what they were doing. Let's be honest here. Which do you think is more likely? That the Trump administration thought nobody would notice Arial font letters size 14 magically appearing on a gang member's hand? Or that they were simply providing a visual explanation of what these tattoos actually represent? The question answers itself, unless, of course, you work at one of these so-called news outlets. France 24 is a French channel broadcasting in English. They jumped right in on this bandwagon. They're pushing the same tired narrative about altered photos. These European-like outlets are just as eager to undermine Trump as our own homegrown propaganda machines. Give it a watch.
Next now is Truth or Fake, and I'm joined in the studio by Catalina.
Remember, this is called Truth or Fake.
Hello to you, Catalina. So President Donald Trump is being accused of holding up a photoshopped image of Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
You hear that? A photoshopped image. Now, they're using the word photoshopped. Everybody in the media is using the term Photoshop because why? You know why. Because everybody knows that that has become a term synonymous with a fake image. So they want you to believe that because the Trump administration put a guide above, a legend, if you will, to let you know what each tattoo stands for, that the entire thing is fake. That's what they're trying to push.
He is tattooed.
Gaslighting.
That's right. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man who was mistakenly deported in March to the notorious El Salvador.
He wasn't mistakenly reported. More on that in a minute.
Mega prison, accused by the U.S. government of having ties to the criminal gang MS-13. Now, to prove these claims, President Donald Trump and the White House displayed what they claim to be such evidence. This black and white close-up photograph of a hand that Trump identifies in this post as Abrego Garcia's with tattooed knuckles, where you can spot, if we take a closer look, 4 different symbols. One is a marijuana leaf, the second is a smiley face, a cross, and a skull, as well as the letters spelling out MS-13.
Now, can we say that France 24 just manipulated that photo by putting a guide of underlines under each one so that you can understand it better, and then circling the actual letters that were put up as a guide to help people understand it better?
13. Donald Trump wrote on his Truth Social that this is the hand of the man that Democrats feel should be brought back to the United
It's
States.
his hand.
They say he is not a member of MS-13, even though he's got MS-13 tattooed onto his knuckles. Many argue the contrary. Several social media users, including Linda Higgins, who is
we're talking about social media users now.
a former Minnesota state senator, expressing doubt over the authenticity of.
Does anybody think that a Democrat is going to admit that the tattoos are real? Anybody?
The image held up by Donald Trump on this post, saying these letters were photoshopped.
This is the biggest insanity I've ever seen. They're actually arguing that it's photoshopped. Like, duh, they put in the letters to help people with double-digit IQs like this reporter here who didn't know that they were there as a legend. It's just unbelievable.
Well, Catalina, was this image photoshopped or not?
Oh, my goodness. Do you hear two cackling hens there? Was it photoshopped or not? Yeah, the administration added MS-13 so that people would know that the tattoos, what they stood for. It's really not that hard. It's not rocket science, guys. Here's what's really happened. Trump successfully deported an MS-13 gang member, and the media cannot stand it. They can't bear to admit that his policies worked. So instead, they manufacture outrage over explanatory text. Look, if someone snapped a photo of me skiing down a mountain and I added "wow" before posting it to Facebook, CNN would probably run a segment accusing me of trying to convince the world that the letters were literally floating in midair as I flew past them. Yes, it's that stupid. That's the level of discourse the media has sunk into. And what's particularly absurd is that there are other photos of Garcia floating around online that clearly show these exact tattoos. His wife even posted pictures of him with convenient little heart emojis placed precisely over where those tattoos are located. Quite the coincidence, wouldn't you say? But of course, the media is spinning this from the other side, now claiming that they've got proof that Trump and his administration tried to deceive America by adding Arial font size 14 text to a photo, as if nobody would ever find the dozens of other photos without the labels that clearly show the exact same tattoos. So their argument becomes not that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13 that got deported, but that the Trump administration tried to deceive you by adding a legend over each tattoo on his hand to help you understand what they meant. This is how depraved they've become. Now, there's another photo showing Garcia holding a baby with those same MS-13 tattoos, plain as day on his finger. The media will stop at nothing to gaslight you into believing whatever narrative they're pushing for the left. The media aren't just biased, guys. They've perfected gaslighting. Jesse Kelly nails it in his "the sky is green" analogy, exposing how the press repeats obvious lies until people are too worn down to argue. That's exactly where we are right now, drowning in make-believe, courtesy of the corporate media. Give it a watch. It's pretty good.
The American media, they're not biased, they're not left, they're not liberal, they're not broken, all these words the right will constantly use to describe the media. No, they're a hostile, insurrectionist force against this country that is absolutely, at this point in time, a national security threat,
Exactly.
and their aim is to burn the country down.
Yep.
Now, back to your neighbor. Why won't he wake up? Why can't he wake up? Well, you see, I have this theory I've thrown around forever called the sky is green theory. And that theory is simply this. If the system, the media being a big part of the system, media, education, government, entertainment, all the different pillars that hold up your society, if the system wanted a huge percentage of the people to believe something that everyone can see plainly isn't true, they could still be able to pull it off. If they wanted to convince half the population the sky is green, they could do it. And you might say, I'm nuts. Jesse, they could never. Jesse, I'm looking up at the sky right now. It's clearly blue. People would never remember this. But you're wrong. You underestimate the power of propaganda. You underestimate the power of shame. You see, immediately there would be scientist after scientist. I went to MIT. I'm Dr. Nerd. I have 9,000 degrees. They'd be all over television every single night on the media. Well, it's a new scientific discovery. It's actually a trick by your eyes. If you add the pronouns or whatever the heck they call those things, you'll find out the sky is green. They'd make Hollywood movies and they'd color the sky green. Your child's social studies teacher, college professor, would force your child to acknowledge the greenness of the sky, or they wouldn't be able to graduate. Your kid's favorite, or maybe your favorite actor, actress, sports star that have a video up on Instagram. Hey guys, get ready for the Super Bowl. Just can't believe the green sky. Over and over and over and over and over again, so that anywhere a normal person looked, again, I'm not talking tip of the spear type person like you, a normal person, anywhere they looked, they would get barraged with over and over again, lie after lie after lie. And soon, a huge portion of this population, 50%, would believe it. And beyond the 50%, this is the reality of the sky is green theory. And the media is really super at fault for this. The people who didn't believe it, many people who didn't believe it, would go along with it anyway because they didn't want to be shamed by friends and family and coworkers. On social media, in real life. Everyone gathers at a party this Friday. Everyone's got a beer, eating some Triscuits and cheese in the kitchen because Triscuits and cheese is delicious. And everybody gathers around. Man, can you believe that about the green sky? Oh, I know, I saw it on the news. Hey, I saw a doctor do it. Whoa, it's crazy. The scientists are all saying it, and there you are in the corner. It doesn't look green. Well, just keep quiet. I don't want to get yelled at. That's what we have in this country.
The media will tell you some gaslit story over and over and over and over again until you start to doubt yourself. Look what they did during the Biden years. You know what I'm talking about. That is exactly what the media is doing here. They're trying to gaslight the American public into believing the photo of Kilmar Abrego Garcia's hand, clearly showing MS-13 tattoos, is somehow fake. And why? Because the Trump administration added letters above each tattoo as a legend to clarify what they meant. And now the press wants you to think that it was done to deceive you, not to inform you. It's insulting, dishonest, and totally despicable. Let me be clear. The tattoos are real. The deportation was real and legal. The gang affiliation was real. And the letters? They were just there to help you understand what you were looking at. But the media can't let Trump have this win. They can't acknowledge that under his administration, MS-13 members were actually being deported instead of being welcomed with open arms and taxpayer-funded benefits the way the previous administration handled them. This is the same media, by the way, that remained conspicuously silent when the Biden administration labeled concerned parents at school board meetings as potential domestic terrorists. It's funny how their concerns about ethics only emerge when they can weaponize against Trump. What we're witnessing isn't journalism. It's not even biased reporting anymore. It's active participation in narrative control designed to protect criminals and undermine anyone who tries to enforce law and order in this country. The story here isn't about some letters on a photograph. It's about a successful deportation of a dangerous gang member and a media establishment so corrupted that they'll do anything, absolutely anything, to avoid giving Trump credit for making America safer. Next time you see one of these scandals erupt, ask yourself, what are they trying to distract me from? What actual success are they trying to obscure? Because 9 out of 10 times, that's where the real story lies. The media isn't just biased. They're engaged in active information warfare against the American public. And stories like this one prove it beyond any reasonable doubt. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next.